Hey guys, this is Frosin, and this is a video today about the tennis tournament that I shot with a friend last week. He's a professional tennis photographer. His name's Anthony Ordain, and I asked if it'd be alright if I shot alongside him and took some photos for him last week at a national tennis tournament. Let's just close this Twitter out of the way. So what I'm going to do is pretty much just a thought dump this video, so it might be quite lengthy, but we're going to go through most of the photographs that I took last week, some of the settings I used, the lens that I used, and some things that I want to look at for next time. So we'll go straight into Lightroom, and what we've got in Lightroom, if we go to all my photographs here, what we've got, or what I've set up rather, is just a collection. We've got a set here called Tennis, and we've just set up a collection in here which has got 427 photos for the grade 3, which is the rating of the tournament. So if we click on here, and we'll go right up to the top, and this is the start of where I started photographing. You'll probably know that I rented out the 80-200 Nikon. It was an AFS lens. It hasn't got VR on it, but as you can see from the settings, if we open this up and put the information up, which is Apple I, or it should be Apple I. It's not Apple I. There we go. Apple I. This is the shot at 1,000th of a second, and at that kind of speed, I kind of figured that we wouldn't need any VR. So because the lens was about the third of the price as the 7200 VR and probably a quarter of the price of the 7200 VR2. I thought to rent. I thought I may as well just rent the 8200 and see how I get on. So these ones are shot at with the 50mm, just because I was familiar with that lens, and straight away you can see that the issue here is that I've got to crop in an awful long way. That is almost half the image size. Crop in an awful long way to make that a usable image, really filling the screen. And although it was just me kind of feeling my feet away, getting to my feet and just kind of feeling the tournament a little bit. A lot of the first few images, that was quite a funny one. A lot of the first few images are just too far away. They're too small. So very quickly I swapped over, and that one's already been cropped in actually. Very quickly I swapped over and we got the 8-200 out and started using that. See if I can find the 8-200 as we go along. So that's still a 50mm, that's still a 50mm, still trying to find my feet. Here we go. So 8-200, these are the first ones. So this is a guy who came down from Cornwall, I believe, and was playing in the tennis tournament, and one of the recommendations that Anthony gave me was that if you shoot in motor drive, if you just motor drives through some of the photos, then A, you'll get more photos, and B, you're more likely to get the correct one. I wasn't a big fan of motor driving. You'll see I tried it there. That was obviously two photos snapped off for the same shot. There's his loading on his legs, and there's the extension coming through. I didn't go any further than that. I prefer the single shot, to be fair. It just feels like I'm in a lot more in control of where the ball is. So if I want that loading shot there, with obviously the muscles showing up and the tension and dynamism in the shot, I can get that shot. But when I'm motor driving, I couldn't guarantee that the ball was going to be there. I couldn't guarantee that that shot was going to be picked up. I'm quite annoyed that these chairs are in the way for this, for the spectators. But I just couldn't guarantee that I was going to get the shot that I wanted. Whereas because I'm a tennis coach and I've got that tennis background, you'll see there, even though it's quite a long way out and needs zooming in and cropping in a little bit, you'll see that the ball is where I want it. The ball is being reached out, it's at the contact point, it's just about to make contact, and that was probably, I don't know, 20th of a second before he hit the ball. So getting the timing, I feel that I've got a pretty good rhythm and timing on shooting tennis. Issue here, obviously I'm shooting and I've got his back, should have been around the other side, but pretty much just trying to get feel of really getting in close and seeing what the frame looks like when you fill it up for preparing for the serve. Here's another one here. Again, it would have been better if I was over the other side, so you could actually see his face and you're looking at his chest, pretty much along that kind of line. So that was the first thing that I not particularly learned, but picked up very, very quickly, is that if you're on this side of the net and shooting across into the tennis court like this, you can pretty much only pick up backhands for this particular player because he's right-handed. And then if you're around the other side, that's when you can pick up forehands. So face, chest, or facing towards the camera. Where's that backhand gone? Is it that one? There we go. Whereas on the backhand side, you've got to be on the opposite side, so he's still facing you when he's playing that backhand. So that was the first thing I learnt. Well, second thing, because obviously we're filling the frame as well. And then as we get further in, just scan through a few of these, show you some of them. So again, that's the issue of not being in front. There we go. So that's motor driving. So preparation, loading, contact. I'd say there's still quite a big gap between those two. So I'm putting that down to luck that I got that photo rather than skill. And I'd quite like my photos to be down to skill, to be fair, rather than luck. So I think I'm going to stick with the single shots. There's obviously the issue with doing motor drives. The issue with doing motor drives is, for me, is that I can't control where the ball's going to be. But on the flip side of that, you are coming away with a lot of photos. So if you're wanting to sell to your client, if you're wanting to sell to this lad here, a portfolio, well, not really a portfolio, but a CD of 100 photos of him playing tennis, and then he can take that back and give it to his coach, and then he can critique and help him out, then that's all well and good. But for what I'm hoping to do, I kind of want to get some actual tennis photos, some photographs that work as photographs, standalone. I mean, that one for me is a pretty strong photograph in itself. Tennis-wise, it's not particularly good to see his foot down there. He's got his eye on the ball. He's got some good dynamism, good strength, peak of action sort of thing. Again, I could have cropped in again, so you'll see I'm still wasting all that space around the body, and you'll see as I get further on, I have a play around and see how much tighter I can get. So let's just leave that one. Right, let's scan through. So tennis photographs. Something that happens that's not a forehand or a backhand. Obviously, it's tying your shoelaces up. It's just about to get back up again. And what I'd do here, again, just slightly crop in, if I could. I don't particularly like to crop, but I'm still kind of learning a little bit on quick snaps like this. I'd rather have got that photograph and give myself the option to crop than in my inexperience sort of thing, because I did have my central focus point set on this, so that would have had to have been and I was still in continuous focus as well. So if I'd have photographed on him in the centre and then recomposed, it would have focused in on this background here, because as that photograph there, that is how you want the photograph to be sitting. That's the central here, that's the central point there, so it would have missed focus. So again, I don't know whether that's, I need to flick between the focus modes quicker, an understanding of flicking nice and fast so that I can capture these ones and then not have to crop, because obviously if I was in single shot, then I could have focused on himself, recomposed to that, and then shot without having any worry at all of it refocusing on the background here. So something that I might ask somebody, one of my friends, see what they think. Scan it through. Again, just a few. Sitting down, not particularly great. Walking back. A few more of Steph playing. Right, now this is where we start. This is a lad called, well, it's a lad that I've coached for a while, or have seen coaching for a while. plays down at the gym, the club that I play at, and straight away I went in there with the intention of absolutely filling the frame with no other thoughts. It was pretty much I've got the timing, I understand all the timing and everything. I'm just going to fill the frame. So first shot, bang, 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 thousandths of a second. This guy is, I think he's 18 now, so he's got quite a racket head speed, and you'll see it a thousandth of a second. Still getting a little bit of blur. I believe I went up to 1200 or 1250th at some point as I was going through here, because I was starting to notice. Let's just flick that one around. Let's get out of the develop module that needs to be in develop. And yeah, just starting to fill the frame a little bit, making sure that I'm only getting forehands on this, well, only getting backhands in theory on this side, but obviously because he's got the rotation in, he's still getting that rotation coming around, and he's visible to the camera, so that one still works. I quite like that. That's nice and dynamic. That would be a good centre page spread for some of the books that I'm looking to do. I'm looking to do like a tournament story for some players, so that'll be quite a nice centre page across both pages. Again, I think that one was motor drive, so dink dink, but it was motor driven to get that shot there. That was the intention, and then that extra one was just like a follow through. So going through, there we go again. Shame that he didn't get his foot up. He had a slightly larger base there, but it was a rushed shot. That's better. But again, we're just getting into that stage of not filling the frame. I should have got a lot tighter into there. You'll see that's still half the photo gone. So half the photo data, half the data that I've collected there is completely pointless. I need to start filling this frame. So get back into the library module. Rotate that back round. So we're shooting in portrait for serves, because obviously you need that height. Just starting to get the pronation coming in on that shot there. Same again here. That's the follow through. So trying to get some balance and some shot on that. That would be where, I think that's motor drive as well. Yep. That would be where a recomposition would be good, because we've got some dead space over here. Should be quite nice to have the dead space in front of him. That's where the ball's going, and then obviously that's obviously where he's going to be landing as well. So he's going to be moving into that dead space, and makes the second photo slightly easier. Again, breaking my rule of only shooting backhands on this side, but I thought it'd be better to try and get some shots than not, to see what works and what doesn't work. And you'll also notice here that I'm filling the frame a lot better here. That is probably the amount of dead or wasted space. The only thing is that composition-wise, it should have been a bit further over to the right-hand side. So slightly missed the composition there. And now we're starting to get into. I'm really trying to. As I was shooting now, I wasn't using a tripod. This was all handheld. 80 to 200 again. Let's see if I haven't got the 80 to 200 because I had to send it back, but I have got the 70 to 300 signal, which I can demonstrate with. So if we get my D90 up, just quickly swap these lenses over. So as I was shooting these, the setup I was using, obviously this is my focus ring here, right underneath. Focusing with my left eye, which left my right eye to be still observing the play in the game, and obviously the most important thing that I found shooting tennis is listening. So you can hear the crack when the opponent hits the ball, and you're looking down here through the eye, through the viewfinder. You're following the player, and then constantly, I found myself constantly. Especially now, where I'm focusing on really filling that screen out, really filling the frame, I find myself constantly just adjusting the focal length to really fill it in. And one thing that I did pick up, I don't know where I can find a shot, but the composition of shots as they're going through. So if I want, this was particularly in motor driving, if I wanted a shot of them hitting the ball and then a shot of the finish, obviously, if I was going to shoot that finish now, his elbow is going to be a lot higher and it's going to be up off the frame, even though I've missed his foot up there like that. So it's off the frame there. If you're motor driving through and you've got the focus, it doesn't matter what you're doing with the focal length, the focus will stay the same. So you can zoom out as he's playing the shot. So you can go and zoom out and catch the frames and keep the composition. Again, you'll see that I wasn't really motor driving very many. I think that was one of the ones that that might have just been a double shot rather than a motor drive. So I accidentally caught a double push. But yeah, you're constantly following the player, constantly just adjusting and trying to keep him full in the frame. See, this is the other issue that I've got. That's a central focus point. That's using the central focus point because obviously he's right in the centre of the frame there, right in the centre of the frame there as well, which doesn't leave much room for. I mean, I'd love for this photo here for him to be right over on the right hand side here, plenty of space for the ball coming in, and he's got some direction. As it is, that's actual dead space. If it was over on the right hand side, that'd be, I don't know what you call it, like dynamic dead space. So that's where the ball's coming from. It's where the focus is, and the picture's going that way. Whereas obviously the central focus, you need the speed to be able to, because we're on continual focus and the guy's moving around a lot. I mean, again, look, I've just missed his toe. That's so annoying because it's such a good photo. Ball right on the racket as well. It's a little bit blurry, still at 1000s. But one of the good things actually of shooting out here in the bubble is this is a clear bubble that goes over across 3 courts. It's just a massive softbox. So the lighting in there is fantastic. So you can really shoot. I mean, I'm only at ISO 400, but ISO 400 a thousandth of a second at f2.8. It's brilliant. I couldn't get anywhere near that inside. In fact, I couldn't even shoot inside at a thousandth of a second. I think my ISO was off the scale, and I still couldn't get any. So yeah, there's a few challenges. One of them is the focus points. I think the D90's only got how many has it got? Is it 11? Have a quick look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's only got 11 focus points. The fastest is going to be the centre. And if I'm moving it over, I know really he should be hitting backhands here, so I should need the focus point here. Let's find a backhand. Where's his backhand? Here we go. So focus point for this shot should be here, and then he would be over on that side of the frame, with space here of where the balls come from, or at least space that the eye is leading into, and it's not dead space as it is that way. Okay, but the focus time it takes to capture that, and then as well, if you're catching a forehand here, if you're getting a forehand, which is it's a good shot. It's slightly annoying that his hand is just a little bit too high and over his face. The focus point's here. So am I going to have to be able to quickly change my focus points, or am I just going to completely focus on backhands there, and then when he goes down the other end, completely focus on forehands? Because it's slightly frustrating that if he's going to play, see if I can find a great shot that he's going to play. If he's going to play a great shot on a stretch, that's reasonably stretched and reasonably dynamic. If he's going to play that great shot over there, but that was, I can't find one. Okay, there we go. So this is forehand side. Okay, so I'm shooting on the forehand side. That rule that I've just said, I've got my focus point over here, so that I've got the dead space on this side, dynamic space. Let's call it dynamic space. We've got the dynamic space on this side rather than dead space on this side. But if I've got my focus point here, I will have missed that one completely. In terms of a photograph, you've got the back, can't particularly see his face, but if you imagine that one to be an absolutely outstretched backhand slice where he's really stretching for it, and he's got his eye on the ball, I would have missed it because the focus would have been here. So it's a tough sport to get. It's a tough sport to get the photo, because things like that only happen. Well, they don't happen very often. They probably happen three or four times in a set. And do you want to jeopardise missing it by having your focus point set over here? So, do you have centre focus point and then accept that you've got to crop, okay, and lose a third of the frame? Or do you have focus point over here and accept the fact that you're going to miss some of these photos, which is a bit of a shame. So anyway, that's enough of the kind of the dynamic photos. Let's see if we can show some of the more interesting photographs and angles away from the tennis shot. So we've got ready position here. I think that'd be great in a book. So just showing the focus on his face. This is where I was trying to capture. That's absolutely filled the frame, look, but I've just missed his feet. That was concentrating on getting his head in, so I was zooming it in and kind of guesstimating where his feet would be during the shot. So that was looking at the top of the viewfinder, making sure his head was in and I wasn't cutting it off. Just missed it, flipped it over, and then missed his head. So that was focusing on the head, making sure the head was in. And then obviously the focal length was just slightly too long and cut his foot off, and then flipped it over. I was focusing on his feet, focal length again just slightly too long and cut his head off. That's spot on. Now that would have been great. Oh, I've just cropped that one in again already, but that would have been great portrait. So that would have been fantastic like that. But again, that's the third of the photo data gone. So it'd be quite nice. But now I've got this. I think it would be quite good to photograph in portrait until you get that shot, and then obviously you've got the best possible photo data, and then change to landscape. Photograph until you get one of these shots. I mean, that's quite a good close in. It's a shame that the racket's slightly too high. Let's get that away and go to library again so we can open a little bit quicker. Same again. That's back foot, backhand. Not the greatest of footwork. Nice slice. Concentration on the ball. Try not to. Very aware of cutting his legs off. So I wanted to cut his legs off above the knee. I don't want to get his legs off below the knee because that's where you start looking like you're stuck in mud. That's top of the head again. If I was doing a photography story, so a little book, a tournament story for this guy, I'd imagine it would be about 20 pages long. You'd have some fantastic photographs of his forehand, some fantastic photographs of his backhand, a double page spread of him, double page spread of him extending out. You remember that first photograph of his forehand that we had back here? Double page spread of that forehand there, right across the page, and then you'd turn over the next page and you'd get, where is it? You'd get little ones of his legs serving, grabbing the ball up, ding ding ding. That'd be a nice little photograph. I mean, they do this. They're pretty much going to do this every shot because they need the tennis balls every shot. So if you put that on a page, again, look at the crop on that. Look how much data we've wasted. Look how much data we've wasted on that. So a lot of it, I think, a lot of what I've learnt this week is just awareness. I mean, I've got good awareness on the tennis court on what's going to happen, but now I think I just need to take my awareness of what I need to photograph to another level. So this was pretty much, I've put this down to just feeling my way around the tournament, getting the angles right, getting a little bit. I mean, that's pretty spot on in terms of filling the frame. But then I've broken the rule again that I'm shooting on his back. I've missed his face. Here I was trying to get the follow through a little bit, so I was very early on that. Just got a nice quick serve, so I was trying to get his follow through where his face was going to be a little bit further around to his camera. So yeah, basically put this tournament down to just feeling my way around a little bit, understanding what's going to be going on. Let's get this down. Understanding what's going on, what kind of photos work, the angles which work, the angles which don't work. That'd be a great, as long as he's won, that'd be a great shot to go at the end of the book, in my mind anyway. Slightly better, should have had. This is one of the things that you know is going to come. You know he's got match points, so you can prep and get ready for this one. Keep the net in there. Obviously you need his opponent a little bit further in, so the composition needs to be, let's just do some composition. Composition needs to be there, and then his opponent needs to be in the frame as well. But that would be great for the last double page spread of the book. I can see that working quite well. Turning away, have we got any fist pumps? I'm not sure whether we've got any fist pumps. Look at this one. Where's that pickup gone? There it is. Check out the pickup. Great footwork. Great footwork. So yeah, it's just another little snapshot of that would go in quite well. That's not going to work because it's over his face. But a page with sitting down, chilling and relaxing after the point. So we've got those little ones of the balls being picked up. And then at the end of the tournament, I'm going to keep persevering with this because I'm absolutely, that's one that I've already processed. You'll see you'll see my preset coming in there. So you've got the slight yellow and blue split tone. You've probably seen these ones that I've been going for. There we go. Fantastic. That works really well. So the ones that we've got, let's just scan through and show you the rest of these. Just missed both there, so the focus length was a little bit too long. And again, awareness on realising that the shape of that backhand is going to be a portrait rather than a landscape shot. Very important. And then just missed this. I don't know why the ISO went up to... it must have got a little bit darker because the ISO has gone up, but I'm shooting at 1250th of a second. Just missed these. This guy in the white won. So that would be a great shot to finish his book, but you've obviously got to keep the feet in. So awareness on this, you've really got to keep composition right on this because you only get one chance to capture the handshake. And to be fair, he's not going to want that at the end of his book because he's lost the match. He'd probably quite like it. I think this was a semi-final as well. And then we've got a few of indoors. This is shot indoors. This is shot with Anthony's Canon, and you'll see 6,400th ISO to get the shutter speed of 1,000th. The D90 that I'm shooting with cannot cope with that. I wasn't even able to get any if I went up to H3, so I wasn't even able to get a shutter speed of anything like that, so it's a bit of a shame. But it did allow me to start doing some of these dynamic photographs. So I'm still persevering with this. I'm absolutely convinced that there's something in there, something to get out of this. It's just trying to get the settings, trying to get this. I mean, that's a cool photograph. The ball coming in there, dropping down. Sorry, it's here. Ball coming in here, off the bounce, bang, catching the racket. You've got the racket blur here, and then the ball going away again. Plenty of topspin, plenty of height. Yeah, I think that's a fabulous photo. I think that's really good. You've got the speed of the racket there going through. I'm just it's a little bit of a shame that the face isn't slightly more evident. But again, if that's in the middle of a book, with her match, that's pretty much her match going through. That's a double page spread on, I don't know, page 6 is page 7. It's in context, so you know what's happening, and then you've got, see if I can find one that's really showing the movement. I mean, that one's pretty smart because you've got the racket in nice and sharp. I can imagine if I was shooting someone like Novak Djokovic doing this, it would be brilliant because his head would always be rock solid still as he was hitting the shot. There's that one again, ball going up. See if we can find one that we've already processed, because there are a couple. Here's one. There we go. So the settings are quite tough because obviously most of these are all overexposed, so I had to pull the exposure back a little bit, and then I also pulled back the exposure on the body as well. And one thing that I don't think is particularly helping on these is the background. The green drapes aren't particularly helpful. So I was trying later on to see if and you can also see that the background is actually blurry as well. It's all because it's shot at a 1/10 of a second and handheld, annoyingly. You do get a bit of blur in the background as well, so it essentially just looks like, and I understand it, essentially just looks like a blurred photo. So to make her stand out, to get some separation on the subject, what I was looking for on these last few is whether I could keep the background in sharp focus. So I got a monopod out, really careful, to see if I could keep that background in some sharper focus to make the shot look a little bit better. I mean, here we go, we've got that, all this is in sharp focus now. I've really dropped the green, the bright green, dropped that back, and try to bring out the player. Slightly funny colours and balance on this one. So I'm actually wondering whether it'd be better to, or whether this style is only going to work outside, where I can really play with the ISO, I can really play with the shutter speed and the f-stop and get some depth. I might need an ND filter to shoot outside, but I'm convinced there's something in it. I'm absolutely convinced that there's something in this style. I love that photo. I think that's a great photo. It's not processed very well. Let's see if I can just balance the processing between these two. Go into the develop module and just sync those. See if we can get. There we go. So that for me is a pretty sweet photo. I quite like that. The background is annoying. I don't like these drapes that are falling down, and I think it'd work a lot better if it was on in a stadium where you've got the Lions people. So the Lions people would be in focus. Maybe the sponsored would be in focus. You might have the top of the billboard here with fans. They'd all be in focus, and then you just have this dynamic movement from the player. I think this would be a really strong photograph if I could get it. And then make sure all the colours pop. Make sure that the exposure is right. You'd have to play quite accurately with the exposure. And then of course, as well as these, where's that one of? This is another example of a photo that would go in a storybook, changing the score at the end of the game, at the end of the point. Great little story. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with what happened. I did some of the adults in the evening as well. Nice little volley back to the camera, which is slightly annoying, but there's the serve. So yeah, it was a really enjoyable week. I'm finding out that I'm desperately going to need a slightly better camera for shooting indoors, but outside absolutely fine. Love it, fantastic to shoot outdoors. I'm also desperate to try and get one of these working. That I think works. I think in context that would be really good. I think with a slightly better background that'd be really good. I think the background is too dead. Looking at it again, I think that background is just a bit too dead, and there's nothing else going on in the photo other than that. I think the photo needs a bit more sharp focus on something else, just to bring the photo into something a bit more interest. But yeah, really good. The 80-200, fantastic lens. Absolutely loved it. And for the price, I'm definitely going to get one. I will pick one of those up. In terms of shooting indoors, do I get a camera? Do I need an upgrade? I don't really want to upgrade. I'm loving shooting with the D90 at the moment. If I do get an upgrade, I'll probably grab the D3S. Obviously the D4 is going to come out, so fingers crossed the price might drop a little bit on a second-hand D3S. That'll be quite good. But that won't be for a few months. And I've actually been asked by the photographer who I shot with here if I would like to come and shoot some tournaments down the road. So there's another tournament that he's photographing in a couple of weeks, which he's asked if I could come and shoot with him again, which is promising. I like that. Good things about that, it's all outdoors. So I'm not going to have any problem at all with my shutter speed. The only issue is I'm going to have to rent another 80-200 lens. Oh no, the pain! So yeah, I'm going to have to rent that again, and I'll probably rent it for a week this time. I rented it for 3 days for this. So I'll rent it for a week, and then I'll probably do a quick video as well about that lens, because I loved it. So there we go guys, I'm going to throw some of these photos up onto Flickr. I'm going to go through and process these, process a handful of them. I'm going to throw them up onto Flickr. Put them up onto my website for you to have a look. Please, if you've got any questions or even some advice, just leave a comment, and remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, thank you very much guys. This is Frosin. This is my first tennis tournament that I've photographed, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks very much. See you later.